So nick slips letter were not there for me. So now you can think from the long term, from the beginning also. It is an aspect you have to choose where you are. I think one has to find his own way and how he is positioned. One question I can't answer for anyone, which I think how to build capital first. Is it by trading or is it by investing? I don't have an answer for that. We got lucky and because of 2000 to 2008. So we don't know. I don't have an answer for anyone who comes to me. But you are taking a long-term view. You are taking in terms of this, how to build capital from a smaller money because compounding works on a decent size. So I don't have an answer for that.
That's a very good way to put it actually. So actually, it is more of a personal decision. We have to take a call ourselves, what kind of investor we want to be. And now we have a lot of material, as you rightly said, which was not available.
It was not available earlier. So there was not even thought about it. It was always looking that market is uncertain. You just take the advantage of volatility or something like that. It was difficult to perceive how this company can be in 2, 3, 5 years. If you see now, there's a stoic, this one, Ishmut is teaching. It's so nice thing is happening. So much knowledge is coming in just so on. You are teaching, you are also giving. So there is a way that has shortened the period of learning and all this thing.
So now I'll move to the real estate. So my first question to you would be, is real estate a good sector or not? And I'm not asking from an investment perspective. I'm asking from an owner's perspective or from the point of view of a developer. Do developers really make good ROE in their books and sustainably good ROE?
It's a very good question, but sustainable is, I have to remove that from that statement. But let me give a brief profile what has happened in 10 years last time. So, and that is possible of recency, which is of what has happened in last 10 years, causing people to think what happens with the real estate in general. So that's a recency bias of a long decade, which is happened in our mind because most of the people journey are in that period. So what happened? There was a bull market from 2005 to 2013 for the real estate. And then it was a bear market. And that bear market itself was filled with reforms and disruption. So in 2016, Demon happened. Then 17, GST happened. There was different rules for selling so there was so much confusion what to buy and what not to buy in these rules. Then after that, there was ILFS scam going on, IBC came, RERA came, and on the top of it, there was election, there was uncertainty, and then the father of all, then COVID came. So it has a very last different 10-year, maybe which is a different way, which normally doesn't happen. But real estate is a deep cyclical business, but it is different than other cyclical business like sugar. So what is the difference between this cyclical and real estate? For example, sugar and maybe real estate. So these cycles are very long in India. Maybe it will be shorter in future, I don't know. But these are typically long cycles because it takes 4 or 5 years to build. So supply comes late and excess supply doesn't come easily. And at the same time, if there is excess supply, it doesn't go away easily. And what is a big thing is, which is in benefit of real estate is, for example, sugar consumption is X ton per year. I'm not going to say after 10 years, this consumption will be 2X. It may be cyclical because of the raw material price or because of the finished product price, and that is changing the ROEs of the company. But in real estate, I can think in the India case, whatever number of houses we are selling in 7 micro market, like 4 lakh, 3 to 4 lakh apartments, can be 8 lakh, can be 12 lakh also. So even if it is cyclical, the top of that next cycle may be different than the top of the past cycle. So when we see, is real estate a good business for a developer? And if it is a good for developer, most likely, if you find the right management, it will be good for the investors also. So one thing we have to see, if somebody is able to sell the inventory on the launch, if sales engines are good, and what is required for sale, that's a different aspect. What other parameters are required. So if somebody is able to sell at the launch till the construction, that's a good ROE business. Let me tell you why. So there's a question there. Let me add to it or something like that. No, it's a different thing. Okay. So
you can look at the question in the end. Right now,
okay.
you can continue. Yeah.
So my point was, in only real estate, there are one item on the left side of the balance sheet or the liability. That is, one is equity is everywhere, reserves are there, debt is there. There is one more head in the real estate, which is a big parameter. This is called customer advance. This is the only sector where we pay something to a guy who gives house after 5 years. Everything we go to buy Apple showroom, we pay money, he give us the phone and maximum in this car. This time we have paid a token money of 10,000 or 15,000, which they are giving after 1 year. But there is no other sector I can think of where paying a large amount of money and then giving the product after a longer period of time. If somebody is able to sell the house product between launch and the delivery, that can make a very good ROE and very good ROC, because it is made from the customer advance and it reduces the risk of the finished inventory in case of any recession is there. But how this selling happens depends on the multiple factor. There may be one Oberois who's able to sell because of his aspiration brand. Shobha may be able to sell it because of the quality and there is cult customer base. Godrej may be able to sell it because of the good finding the right product which the customer is needed, making great sales channel. So if somebody, let me summarize that for you, somebody is able to sell the housing between launch and this, I have seen there's a good operating margin of the project level also, and at some scale, if they're selling at profitable value, I think that's a good ROC business. And it's a disruption-free business. Most of the businesses are finding disruption. In automobile, we are finding disruption. It's a long traditional business, I think, which will be always be needed to space to live. So it is one part where it is a disruption-free business also.
Yeah, so that's a good point.
So last 10 years has been, because people are saying ROEs are not there, because last 10 years has been different. And even the COVID, and one of the biggest problem people are finding not to see it, because after that accounting systems have also changed. And one more disruption happened in this accounting system has changed. Now you can only book revenue when you are giving delivery to the buyer.